this prosecution case, that how on earth can you possibly be sure that this was not a struggle in the doorway? How can that be ruled out so that you are sure, so that you are certain? Because that's what the prosecution have to do. If you're not sure, if you're not certain, then she is entitled to a verdict of not guilty. But there you are, it stuck in my mind because it was the only case I ever had. No, it was the only case I ever had where death by hanging was theoretically the only penalty if found guilty. Of course, there could be a petition to the Home Secretary for a pardon from Her Majesty, as indeed there was in the case of Ruth Ellis, and the Home Secretary in her case turned it down. That it, of course, did evoke a great furore. But we were a few years later, and again, in theory, the only penalty if you were found guilty of murder was death by hanging. The judge would, if the verdict came in, the clerk would say to the jury, how say you are? Is she guilty or not guilty? And the clerk would say, guilty, my lord. Whereupon behind the judge would be his clerk, who would have a cushion in his hand, and on the cushion was a black cap. And in that case, he would put the black cap on the judge's head, and stand by. There's a chaplain there as well, with a Bible. And the judge would say, there's only one sentence. And that sentence is that you be taken here from a place of safekeeping and thence to a place of execution, where you be hanged until you are dead. And the chaplain would then in turn, I always thought, I'm afraid, slightly hypocritically, and may the Lord have mercy on your soul. Why hypocritically? I don't know. I just think that somehow the whole situation, which we're never going to see again, never can see again, was wrong, as indeed we now all know that the law has changed. Anyway, it did stick in my mind.